Did you see the video that Bad Brad put up? Talking about how if you want to be a successful YouTuber, you got to have good hair. Did you see that? I'll send you. I'll put a link on this. It's hilarious, man. This guy, Bad Brad, if you haven't seen his channel, it's so funny, man. He talks about all different YouTubers' hair. Pretty funny shit. Cracking up. And I got a kick out of that. He's a funny dude.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. A shout out from Uncle Larry. That's right. Tom Bukovac, the amazing Tom Bukovac, 501 Chorus Echo. Great channel on YouTube. And man, incredible player. Man, this channel got a shout out from Tom Bukovac. Man, what a great guy, man. Super cool guy, and playing. Here's kind of the here's the interesting thing. Like I woke up this morning, right, and I noticed a ton of comments, more in the middle of the night than normal. I get a lot of comments on this channel, and shout out to everybody that comments and hits the like button and all that, because you all help this channel keep going. But I woke up and I started seeing all these comments, and it's not some of the familiar faces. It's not members of the Breakfast Club, that we get together every morning, but it's all these comments. And then one of them says, Uncle Larry sent me here. Well, on my video, Hair Equals YouTube Fame, I noticed Tom Bukovac left a comment. And, I was like, cool, he saw the video. Well, I included him on the thumbnail for the video because he is a YouTuber and he has great head of hair. He has a great head of hair. And, he's a local Nashville guy. And, I've met Tom, not officially as a meet, but he used to have this really cool gear shop over there in Berry Hill. And when I got off the road and I was playing with the BB King All-Stars, I had heard about this guitar shop. And I started going over there when I'd get my paycheck, from playing at BB King's, or, had a few bucks in my pocket. I would go over there, and man, I got some good deals. In fact, I got some great deals in that shop. This Vibrolux Reverb, you'll see. Let's see if we can get it on camera a little bit. That Vibrolux Reverb, it's a 70s Vibrolux Reverb. And I bought it on from Uncle Larry's store. And I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but maybe it was like $600 or $700, maybe $700. And it's like in mint condition. I've got the cover, slip with it. And man, I was looking for the perfect blues amp to play, in a blues club with a Strat. And, a Vibrolux Reverb is a great amp. And the Silverface versions just remind me of my youth, because that seemed like Fender amps were all over the place. You could find them. And, talked about that on my channel. But yeah, I had been in his guitar shop. Uncle Larry was there. I also bought a twin reverb in there for like $600. And man, they were all kinds of deals. They were deals I should have taken advantage of. Marshall heads and Bogner ecstasies and all kinds of cool amps. It was a great music shop. And I would go in there. I had my beard and my long hair. And, I would go in there and go gear hunting. And every now and then I would sit down and try something out. And Uncle Larry would be, sitting behind the counter. And I'd be going, oh, man, this amp is really cool, And so to, fast forward to now. Now I'm not in Nashville anymore. And I'm in Tampa. And here is Tom Bukovac giving me a shout out. And man, it's like, getting a shout out from back home. I do miss Nashville, But, I'm here down in Tampa, and we're rocking and rolling, and, got good things coming up on the channel. And the interesting thing was the episode where Tom gives me the shout out. He's playing a Gibson SG Firebrand. Now, the Firebrand is sort of the cousin to the Gibson Les Paul. The Gibson Les Paul is the first guitar that I ever had that was a good guitar when I was a kid. And I think we got it for like $500. It came with a case. It was an American-made Gibson. It's like all walnut body with an ebony neck, and it had good sounding pickups. Very bare bones guitar. It was not like getting a Les Paul custom and having all the frills and everything. It's a very raw guitar. It's kind of like, the satin finish trend that's, comes in and out of the guitar business. Well, this was the first time anybody had probably ever put out something like that. A guitar with very little finish, very little, frills, and put it out like that. And there is Uncle Larry on my shout out holding a Firebrand. Now, I have here in my collection, and I'm not sure I have easy access to it, but I have a SG Firebrand that somebody had painted black sparkle, and I've shown it on my channel on the video Pawn Shop Guitars, and it's got some weird anomalies. It's got a weird headstock inlay that's not normally on those guitars. So it makes me think the guitar went through something, or maybe it was an employee's guitar that worked in the factory and eventually got this black sparkle paint job. But if you look under in the cavity, you see the walnut body, and you go, okay, this is a Firebrand. And, but it's just weird how things like that work out. There he is playing a guitar that looks a lot like my first good guitar. And he's giving those guitars love, man. He's the prices are about to shoot up, just like I got a little boost on my channel last night. And man, thank you, Uncle Larry. Thank you, 501 Chorus Echo. Thank you, Tom Bukovac. I'll put a link to his channel. I'm sure everybody that watches my channel watches Tom. But man, make sure if you don't, that you do. Great guy, and thanks so much for the shout out. I've had some, cool people comment before on videos, and I've had people take some of my ideas and run with them, and they give you a little shout out in their video. But this was just a pure plug and shout out, and man, thank you so much for that. And yes, Tom Bukovac has great hair. And so, man, it's an honor because he is a great player who's got so much experience in the business and, about life and, teaching things on his channel. So many things you can learn from a guy like that. Tone tips and playing tips. And, he's got his feet planted in that prog rock thing. Even though he's plays on a lot of country sessions and stuff, he's got his feet firmly planted in prog rock and creating interesting playing things without playing jazz. That's something that I don't have. I didn't learn a lot of Genesis, progressions and those superimposing those triads over bass notes and stuff like that he does. Man, he's figured out a way without all that, trickery, scale trickery and stuff, and fusion playing and jazz and stuff. That's not his bag. His bag is, man, creating stuff, out of, that prog rock thing and creating interesting things, which really, frankly, it takes more work than learning jazz. Anybody can sit down and have a teacher go, hey, play this scale over this and play this scale over that. And if you work hard enough at it, you can get a little bit of proficiency. But man, he's created his own thing, man, and it's why he does have the secret sauce in his playing. Look, you can't take a lot from the jazz world and apply it to playing in country music. Yes, playing chord tones over, different chords, that helps some. But man, it could get you into more trouble on a session if I all of a sudden started throwing all this chromatic stuff and altered scales and whole tone and stuff like that. Man, it just doesn't work over that genre. So him being able to figure out and cook up this stew of just vibe, and that's really worked out well for him, and that's the path I would take if if I was a young buck trying to get into that that scene. Like I said, I don't think jazz ever really helped me in that world. I had to kind of just turn that stuff off, man, because look, I'll give you an example. I was playing with Gary Lewis and the Playboys, oldies gig, touring, playing shows, and I've talked about it on this channel. And I would have guitar solos through the night, and I would sing a couple songs. I would sing stuff like Mustang Sally and Brown Eyed Girl, just, basic songs. But man, you're playing for 60-year-old people, at the time. And I was late 30s, 40s. So I'm playing for like people that were like my parents' age, essentially at that time. And so, you can't, play fusion songs. You can't, it was kind of like, okay, Brad, you're going to sing a couple songs. Can you pick a couple songs from the 60s? And so I had, stuff that I had done on wedding gigs and stuff like that I had sung, just out of necessity, man, because, the singer can't sing 4 hours every night. And so, yeah, I would do, Mustang Sally, and I'd do Brown Eyed Girl and stuff like that. And the bass player would do Wooly Bully. And then maybe as a group, we would do a few Beatles songs and just things to flesh out the set. And the reality is, when you're playing a gig like that, and this was a 60s gig, everything we did was the 60s. So 60s guitar playing was sort of where you needed to stay on the gig. But, I was a young guy and I was full of energy. And after, 100 gigs, you start experimenting with what notes, you can play and what you're going to do, on the gig. And I remember playing this run. And let's see if I'll just pull it because it's early in the morning and the kids are sleeping. So we were playing, and when I say kids are sleeping, my wife and my daughter, but we were playing something in G minor, right? And I was, taking a solo and taking liberties with the solo. And I played to get up to, right? Now I played that on the gig. The moment went by. It was, I didn't think it twice about it because that was a lick that I used, on my jazz gigs, or a lick I used playing with the Wooten Brothers and stuff like that around town. That was a lick I would use to get all the way up to the neck to. That was a lick that I would use to get from here to here. And so I played the lick on the gig and I didn't think twice about it. But I don't know if it was after the show or the next day. Gary said to me, says, man, you played something weird on the solo. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. And so, he was absolutely right. Yeah, the guitar player in me wanted to play something a little outside. It's a pattern, really. It's like tritone stuff, right? But it wasn't appropriate for the gig. It wasn't appropriate for a Gary Lewis and the Playboys gig. I needed to keep it in that realm of 60s guitar. And that entailed a lot. I mean, Jeff Beck was playing in the 60s. Jimmy Page was playing in the 60s with the Yardbirds. Jimi Hendrix in the later era of the 60s. And so there was a decent amount of cool stuff that I could do on the gig. But playing little outside runs and hammer-ons and legato and stuff like that, those weren't really appropriate for the gig. So, a little lesson there, a little story, a shout out from Uncle Larry. A shout out to the Breakfast Club that tunes into my channel every morning at 8 a.m. And man, thank you guys so much. Thank you to my moderators, Dave, Paul, and Mike. Thank you to all the guys, and I know I'm going to forget somebody, but Shredding, Funeral, John E., Guitar Red, Wavelength, who else? Chris, Ben, Joey, man. I know I'm old and my brain doesn't always work to remember everybody's names, but Dr. Starr, thank you for being there for this channel. And so many of the other guys, Freddie B., thank you for being there for this channel. Thank you to Jimmy James, the first guy that was became a member of my channel. Thank you to him. Thank you to everybody that leaves a comment on this channel. I am very thankful for all of you, and thank you so much for making every morning, man, an event. Every morning when I release a new video, man, it's always great to hear from everybody. Earl, who comes in on the channel every now and then, and Karinzen, thank you, everybody. And for anybody that I've forgotten at this moment in time, I'm going to get you down the line. Don't think I'm not thinking about you. And thank you to all the members of this channel for, getting a membership and getting early access to videos. It's really helps this channel out greatly. Thank you to everybody, Mickey and people like that who've donated on the super chats. Thank you to Dana, who very generously every now and then pops in and gives a donation to this channel. Because, man, frankly, YouTube is not a whirlwind of funds, and keeping me going and keeping this channel going, man, well, I think it just kind of helps all of us. So thank you so much, everybody. I'm very thankful for you all. And may you all have an amazing Thanksgiving.